don't be frightened, children. It's old Blackbeard here, and I wouldn't harm a hair of your pretty little heads. I always loved children, I did. Yeah, never keel-hauled a one in my life, nor made a kiddie walk a plank. Not even a little plank. There were little planks other pirates had made for kiddies. I never used them. You see, you children are believers, and like pirates, the world needs more of them. Believers. Another thing, children come in all ages. That's something that many folks don't realise. It's not their chronological age, to use an highfalutin word, that makes them or keeps them kids. It's their state of what I might call mind, state of mind, you see. I once knew an 87-year-old pirate who was the greatest kid you've ever seen, and one of the smallest. He was a very small pirate. And those dear old ladies, the daughters of the buccaneers who kept my memory so alive in the town of Godolphin, they were all good, believing children. They'd turned my old home into an inn, but they were doing badly and were about to be evicted. That means evicted, means kicked out into the street, or in a place where there are no streets like Venice, into the water. But that's getting ahead of the story I want to tell you. Before I do, I want to say a few words about ghosts and pirates. You see, I'm both. And that makes me a real double-threat artist. Now, being a ghost is a pretty pitiful, wispy, whiny kind of thing. Or nothing. The only company a man can keep is with a bunch of now you see 'em, now you don't creeps, oozy, shrieky, foggy, undependable things. There have been a few famous ones, like Hamlet's father and Hamlet's grandfather. They don't usually talk about him, but the father had to learn somewhere, you know, as we all do. And the three in Dickens' Christmas Carol. But by and large, ghosts, they're a sad lot. And I'm not proud at all to be one. No, I'm not. That's why I want to tell you this story, see? Because the whole point is how I got out of being a ghost after being lost in limbo for, many a long year. But I'm getting ahead of myself again, for I wanted to tell you something about pirates. Let me tell you, kids, that I'm very proud to be a pirate and to take my place with other great buccaneers like, I can't think of any of them. Oh, yes, Captain Hook, Long John Silver, Black Bart, myself, Henry Morgan, and myself. Some of us took part in very historical events, such as Jean Lafitte. A Frenchman, you see, I use the French pronunciation, the way you say it. John Lafitte's helping the Americans defend New Orleans in the War of 1812. Oh, and though it's not common knowledge, the very famous navigator and explorer, Sir Francis Drake, was really one of us. I like to think that many of you listening to me today are really pirates at heart, or pirates in spirit at least. But there I go again, talking about spirits and ghosts and getting ahead of my story, which perhaps I'd better begin. So, to begin with, this is not really a ghost story, it's more of a pirate story, for as a ghost, I commit many piratical acts that help the story along, you see. It's one of these acts, an honest and truly good deed that finally gets me out of the limbo into which my 10th wife, Aldetha, placed me by her terrible curse. While they were burning her at the stake, and as the flames crept higher and higher, and incidentally even higher, she screeched these terrible words, "Edward Teach," that's me, sometimes known as Captain Blackbeard, when you come to die, may your body and soul be racked twixt this world and the next. Never find rest, never to find kindred spirits. That's surely the truth. I never did until I met Steve Walker, the track coach of Godolphin College. But, there I am getting ahead of my story again. May this curse to hold fast and true. May you dwell forevermore in limbo, always to be alone, or until such time as there be found in you, most wicked of all villains, some spark of human goodness. It's hot. What all Aldetha's fancy curse talk really meant was that I was doomed to be a ghost until I did a good deed. And so I roamed in limbo for, hundreds of years. Steve Walker, whom I mentioned before, got me out, or part way out, and then my good deed got me the rest of the way out. See? Well, no, you don't, of course, but this is how it all happened. Steve Walker was a young man who came to a little town in Maryland called Godolphin to be the track coach at the college. Now, Godolphin in the good old days used to be my land-based headquarters. I built a house there, mostly from odds and ends, timbers of ships that got wrecked somehow. In the bay, yes. It was a sturdy, homey place. My room was on the top floor, looking out to the river and the upper bay. Lovely panorama. I used to stand there for hours with my glass, not my hourglass, my spyglass, studying the ships moving in and out, picking the ones I liked, and yes, well, the inn is still there. And the first night in town, Steve Walker was assigned my old room to sleep in. There were some old mementos of my time round the room, including my 10th wife, Aldetha's warming pan. She was a rather cold-blooded woman, as you might have gathered from now on. You children probably don't even know what a warming pan is, so I'll tell you. You see, now, imagine a covered pan with a long handle. People used to put hot coals in the pan and put it into the bed to warm it. Sometimes they overdid it and the bed took fire. That should have been a warning to Aldetha. The old warming pan was lying on the bed and Steve sat down. See? Now, inside the handle, Steve found a dusty old piece of parchment. Curious, he read, Aldetha teach her book of spells and conjurations. A spell to turn your enemy into a spotted toad. Nogla margata rankleist terso donai dotu. A spell to turn mercury into gold. Thelab Bartos Artum Dasavage. Oh, that didn't work. Mercury's still here. A spell to bring to your eyes and ears one who is bound in limbo. That's the one. That's what did it. And when Steve slowly uttered the words, Cree, Crew, Virgo, Gibber, Calto, Cree. There I was, right before his eyes, and for the first time in 200 years, a human being could see me. To say that Steve was startled is to put it mildly.
Been on the road since 5 o'clock this morning, and it's time. Nothing to eat, Miss Stowcroft gassed me up with pirate stories. I'm all right. I'm just tired. Boy, am I tired. I don't think you're real. I don't think that sword is real, and I'm going to walk right through it and go to bed.
Try it, mate.
Oh. It's real.
Who called me out?
What?
Who invoked me? Aldetha's writing. Aldetha done it. Beware, cried me shipmate, sheer off. That girl, she be a true witch. And I paid no heed. Oh, Aldetha, to do that to your legal spoke husband.
Story is Blackbeard had her burned.
Burned? I never put a taper to her. Never. Oh, I own that down in the horse latitudes on a dull day I might have keel-hauled a wife or two, or else walked one off the end of the plank, yes. But I never did it for spite. Funny thing about me, never did it for spite. I might have done it out of jest, to keep the spirit of me shipmates up. And now to real business. Where'd you stow it?
What? What?
Your rum.
I don't drink.
Don't drink. Ship stores. Have to seek succor there. Since Steve didn't have any rum in his room, I went downstairs to get a bottle. I met Mrs. Stowcroft, the landlady of the inn, but naturally she didn't see me. This seemed to surprise Steve very much. A bottle of rum, no glasses are left. I'll drink from the bottle with you, sir. You don't know what you're missing, son.
She didn't see you.
Eh?
She didn't even hear you.
Oh, why should she? I'm a kind of a ghost, you know. In limbo, caught twixt this world and the next. Beholden to that spell which brings me to your eyes only.
You mean no one can see you except me?
That's about the shape of it, son. And that's why I'll be sailing alongside of you, see? Wheresoever thou goest, there also will I go. So let's drink to that. Are you sure you don't want to freshen this, please?
Now let's get one thing straight. I want nothing to do with you. I'm gonna go to bed, and you can go back into the woodwork or wherever it is you came from.
Belay that tongue! One thing old Blackbeard don't take kindly to, it's them sort of insinuendos. Come to think of it, I don't care for the cut of your jib, neither. If I were to lay this course, I'd choose myself a companion, a hearty companion, with a little blood on his sleeve, and a predilection for rum, for song, and for the occasional wench. And what have I got? I've got a shindy little bean rake. Yes, I have, with the shakes and the whimpers.
What do you mean the
shakes and doesn't even want to join me in a drink? We're stuck with one another, you and I. The cruise may well be a long one, so you'd better make the best of it. And I take this opportunity of bidding you a very good night.
Hey, wait a minute. Get off of my bed.
Your bed?
My bed.
My bed? I captured it from a Portuguese trader at the sack of Cartagena. I spitted him clean and sweet against the headboard. Don't rush me. There it is. There's your Portuguese. What's left of him?
Well, if you think I'm gonna sleep on the floor, you got another thing coming.
Oh, well then, welcome aboard and drop your hook. Devil's a man ever said that old Teach was inhospitable.
All I ask is to be able to get to sleep because I know. Because I know when I wake up tomorrow morning, none of this will have ever happened.
Up the Jolly Roger! Wind freshening. Aye, Mr. Bellamy. Hoist the gallant. El Portuguese. It's your daughter I'm after, Senhor, not your bed. Don Mendoza, we meet again. Pick up your weapons, sir. Take my regards to the King of Spain. Bellamy. Oh. That is it.
That is absolutely it. Figment of my imagination or no figment, he can have his room, he can have his bed. I don't need it. I'm going to the Ye Jolly Roger Motel where the salesman goes.
The poor lad just didn't realize that he was stuck with me. He went downstairs and jumped into a strange-looking craft they call an, now let me get this right, an automobile. Automobile. And he drove off. I was in the back seat, of course. Then I took a notion I'd like to take the helm of this craft, and I grabbed the wheel. Well, you know, it was a tricky craft to steer, and before I know it, we had tangled with the police, the Beadles, and both Steve and I were imprisoned. Oh, well, I've been in and out of many a prison, and this one was no worse nor no better than many. So I wasn't disconsolate, but poor Steve, oh dear, he was. Which, well, he might have been since all the charges were against him. I saw to that. I've been invisible to all but him, you see, was just along for the ride, you might say. Hey, care for a drench, son? It'll brighten your scan.
You're still here, huh?
Aldetha's testament, I see. Studying some way to get rid of poor old Blackbeard, are you?
How'd you guess?
I have been observing thee, and I note that you have a bent for getting yourself into trouble.
I get into trouble? Oh, that is really rich. Who do you suppose put me here?
But you think I like this mortal life of yours? Like there doesn't seem to be any honest joy anymore. Your modern life of yours seems to have got small. Everything's puckered up. You call this a four-poster bed? Put away there. I'm down. You won't get no comfort out of that. If it's Aldetha laid that spell, you can mark it a good one. Without no loophole.
Now, wait a minute. Mrs. Stowcroft told me that curse. Something about you having to dwell forevermore in limbo.
Limbo.
Something, until there be found in you some spark of human goodness.
Aldetha was bright as brass. She knew me like a book.
Yeah, well, you must have done something good. Did you ever pat a dog?
Dog?
Yeah.
Pat it?
Yes.
No, I never did pat it.
Did you ever help an old lady across the street?
Silly.
Anything.
No, we're sunk, you and me. Dead as pork. Might as well face up to it.
Hey, the little old ladies, the daughters of the Buccaneers, your own kith and kin, some of them. Give them your treasure.
My treasure?
Yeah. The one that people have been talking about for so long. It's hidden somewhere around here, isn't it? Huh?
Never mind.
Eh?
Why should I give them my treasure?
Why, well, you great ape, because you can do some good with it. You can help them. In helping them, you might help yourself. You might break the curse.
You thinks this, does he?
Yes, I thinks this. If you help those little old ladies save their home, they'll name public schools and bridges and highways after you. Can't you see it? Teach Park.
Oh.
Teach Highway. See that? the Edward Teach Memorial Free Day Nursery.
Free?
For babies.
Oh, for babies.
Yeah.
Named for me, a wicked old pirate.
Yeah.
And for nothing more than a few chests of doubloons and a few strands of precious jewels.
You bet they will.
And in spite of the fact that I've got the blood of 1,000 gallant lads still on my hands.
Will you forget the blood? I mean, I'm trying. Look, crack loose with the treasure, huh? It's the only way.
Or it don't sound right to me.
Of course it doesn't sound right to you. How would a creep like you know the difference between right and wrong? That's why the curse held on so long. Now, come on. Where's the treasure?
Well, I suppose I must trust you.
Yeah. And where is it?
The treasure?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the treasure.
Yeah. Where is it? Where's the treasure?
There ain't no treasure.
There ain't. What?
No! Not a penny. There's not a doubloon. There's not a bent or damaged peseta.
That is one of the most outrageous things that I have ever... Do you realize people have been searching for that treasure for over 2 centuries? Huh? Poor, unfortunate souls grubbing and digging in the dirt?
I'm not good for nothing, I'm not. Rubbing in the dirt on these awful people there.
Don't start crying again. Look, you must have saved a few coins somewhere, but something. No.
I did have a treasure.
Yeah?
Oh, I had a big treasure.
Yeah?
It was lovely. I did.
Yes.
Well, I spent it all in 1 week. Among the flesh pots and gambling hells of Port Royal. Oh, it was a glorious week. That
You
was.
know what you are. You are a 100% total loss. You're not even a respectable ghost. You're a phony.
Eh?
A phony!
Oh, I've run aground. Since apparently I was as stuck with Steve Walker as he was with Edward Teach, I decided I'd better interest myself in his affairs. Steve got out of jail the next morning, but he was definitely on probation with a college. He had to win the big track meet, see, called the Broxton Relays, or he'd be finished. The trouble was that this team of his was the sorriest group of frail and puny youths I'd ever seen in my whole lifetime, and I've seen some frail and puny youths. They were so pitiful that the local gamblers, led by a scurvy lad named Silky, after Silk, you see, were placing huge odds against their winning. Well, I devised a little plan to help everybody by placing a bet on his team and then invisibly assisting them to win. Thus we'd collect the bet from the gamblers, don't you see, give the money to the daughters of the buccaneers, a good deed indeed, and I would be free of limbo. But, you see, the trouble was, Steve obstinately wouldn't hear of it. How fares your day today, eh?
As if I don't have enough troubles. For a short, wonderful while there, I thought I'd lost you.
You know where I've been? I've been in Godolphin town, roaming the streets and shores of my young manhood.
You have, huh?
Soaking myself in nostalgia.
I know, I can smell it.
And you know, as fate would have it, I went down to one of these here gambling establishments by name Silky's Place.
Hey, take off, will you? I got a lot
And
to
I
do.
overheard what some of the natives were saying on this here subject of gambling. See?
Go away, I mean it.
Now, if there's been one abiding passion of my life, it's been the placing of a gold or silver coin upon a wager. So when I heard that I could get 40, or listen to this, 50 to 1 on the forthcoming enterprise of your young rabbits, ooh, with all that...
What?
You want your lads to win, don't you? I can teach you how to do it.
Forget it.
Why should I? I was a good hand at the teaching young crews. 'Twas no accident, by thunder, I was known as the finest pirate ever to sail the Spanish Main, or the Portuguese Main either, for that matter. Now you'll be asking yourself with some impatience, why was this? I'll tell you why. I train my men to win! Win! Always win! By fair means or foul, by soft words and hard deeds, by treachery, by cunning, by malpractice, but always win.
You mean you have the unmitigated brass to ask me to let you train my team?
I'm not doing this for myself, believe me. No. I'm doing this for those dear, sweet old ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am. The little lavender-scented ladies, I like to call them, that stagger up their rickety staircases of a night, pour their lanterns held aloft when the lights got too bad for knitting by, and say to one another, Ellen, where is our ship, of which Blackbeard is captain, and which may never now come to port at all?
You never mind the snow job. I feel just as sorry for those old women as you do, but that doesn't give you leave. Yes, I do. That doesn't give you leave to put your bloody paws onto my team. Now, you stay away from those boys, you understand me? We win anything, which I doubt, we're going to do it without cheating.
Without cheating? You've never lived, boy. You don't know what life is like.
Go away. Go maroon yourself somewhere, will you?
Help me down, will you?
Go on.
You don't know what life is made of, little old thing. Oh, since Steve was so pig-headed, I decided it was necessary to take matters into my own hands. It was obvious that the poor fellow was not only accident-prone, but just plain unlucky in love as in everything else. His romance with a lovely professor from the college was in just as bad a condition as everything else. I decided to give him a hand in that department at the same time. That evening, Steve and his lady-love was having dinner at Silky's gambling establishment. In her purse, Joanne, for that was the maiden's name, had $900 in cash, which she had collected at a benefit for the Daughters of the Buccaneers. Now, by dint of some excellent sleight of hand, and with the assist from my invaluable invisibility, I managed to fetch the $900, bet it on Godolphin's track team to win at 50-1 odds, and put the chit for the bet back into Joanne's handbag, unbeknownst to all. That is, unbeknownst to all until the day of the big track meet, at which time Joanne discovered the facts, seriously reproached Steve concerning them, who in his turn seriously reproached, who do you think? Me, of course. You regard me strangely, son. Something amiss?
You took that money.
Money? Money. Oh, the old flimsy I removed from the purse of your bookish wench. Why should that stir your ire?
Because it belongs to the little old ladies.
Now, look here. You know as well as I do I replaced that money with a piece of paper will bring great wealth to them small old ladies. Money in 50-fold. Oh, I can't trust no one. I'll deal with this matter personally.
Wait a minute. Just how do you figure to do that?
By bringing a victory in the sport event which is taking place out there at this moment.
Aha! I told you once to give me that rubbing alcohol.
Oh, that's a dangerous move, me
That's
hearty.
not to drink, you idiot. What are you trying to do, kill yourself?
A little late to think about that, isn't it?
Wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight between you and me right now. You're to keep your grubby paws off of my boys. You understand that? I don't know what you're trying to do out there, but you are not gonna do it. My team may not win out there, but whatever they do, they're gonna do it honest. Hands off. You got that?
All right, play it whatever way you like, you puppy. Get a help from me. You come crawling back here, Will. I'll bring my boot to you, and I'll grind your mealy-mouthed jib into the dirt. I will. As I watched the dismal disaster of Godolphin's puny boys pitched against the toughs and thugs of the other schools, I couldn't stand it, and thus, against Steve's noble desire, took a hand Now, by thunder, I said to myself, there be a time to put aside the women and the dancing and the rum. There be a time to stow the puling and the dithering and the blib-blab. There be a time for action. Up the Jolly Roger. Inviolately invisible to all but Steve, I took a hand in things. In the eye jump, a slight assist in the seat of the pants caused the Godolphin boy to soar over the bar to a new meat record. In the pole vault, a single slash of my sword cut the opposing boy's pole in half, with sorrowful results for him. In the running races, the opponents were deftly spun round by yours truly and finished in the wrong direction. But, my masterpiece was in the relay race, the final event of the day, when all of the other team's batons strangely turned into hot dogs, pop bottles, or some such, and Godolphin, what do you think it did? Yes, won gloriously. I thought that this great triumph would solve all our problems, but I didn't reckon with the cock-eyed thinking of young Steve, the feminine hill logic of his wench, nor the perfidy of Silky the gambler. I went back with Steve to his room, and we immediately started packing. While I was remonstrating with Steve, Joanne entered, and was not a little amazed at our conversation. But why go now? I mean, the lads have triumphed, the wager's won, your wench is happy, there's enough money set aside for the old ladies. I fail to divine your reason for leaving.
Well, don't strain your brain.
Furthermore, when the mortgage is consigned to the flames tonight, there is a very good chance the horrible curse may be lifted off my good self, in which case you may be able to settle down to a serene, albeit somewhat dull life without me.
Look, Frizzface, you think I can stay around here after what happened out there tonight? What am I supposed to do for an encore? Now I'm bailing out. I've got to go somewhere I can make a fresh start. Honestly this time.
Very well. It be no concern of mine. I just think it may be a little early for you to be striking your colours.
Strike command! Oh, hi.
Where are you going?
I'm leaving.
After taking my money and stirring everything up, you're running off and leaving us in the lurch? No, you don't.
What are you squawking about? You got it back, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Silky welched on the bet.
He what?
Well, he just laughed and said he wasn't going to pay off. Well, he's throwing Miss Stowcroft and the others out first thing in the morning.
Under normal conditions, if I can remember such a time, I have a sweet and a lovable nature.
Well, you know what I think?
If I may proffer a suggestion, son.
Shut up! Both of you.
Both of who?
I am sick and tired of people thinking and suggesting and giving me a lot of cheap advice. What I am going to do, I am going to find that happy hoodlum, and I am going to wring that money out of his crooked little neck.
Steve, you can't. Not in your condition.
What condition?
Well, anyone can see you're hallucinating again, Steve. You can't fight Silky and his men.
She's right, son. This be a job what takes innards.
Innards? Oh, well, you just sit here and contemplate yours. I've got a job to do.
Permission to come with you, sir?
Oh, no, buddy boy, no more of your big ideas. I'm calling the shots this time.
Proud to serve under you, sir.
You mean that?
My word, sir, is the ultimate warranty.
All right, shipmate, let's go. Hey! Make ready the boarding party, Captain.
Thank you, Admiral.
Cutlass, might need that.
Oh, Steve. You really have flipped.
Confronted by Steve and Joanne, Silky and his hoodlums still reneged on the payment of the bet. Thus, it was necessary for me again to take a hand in things. By the time I was through tidying up Silky's place, the proprietor and all his assistants were good and truly belayed. Blackbeard style, and Steve and Joanne had the money, which they promptly delivered to the daughters of the Buccaneers. I made a grand entrance some time later, called forth to all eyes present by Aldetha's antidote to curses. Cree crew, hold it. Virgo Gebber, don't rush it. Calto Cree. Good ladies, your welcome has touched me deeply. Loath as I am to play the gallant, I am bound to say that I've never beheld a concourse of fair creatures which has stirred me more. Oh, yes. Oh, thank ye for your esteem, thank ye. And yet you cannot know what it has been like for a person of my disposition to have been still of tongue, to have had no one to talk to, for 200 accursed and dusty years. Yet now my voice is heard once again. Oh, I do thank you. Yet stay, it is not my wish, as a person as generous as my good self, to seek to take the lion's share of the glory. No, no. Oh, no. This young rooster, my good friend, he played a modest part in your delivery from disaster.
Well, I'd only...
Not now, son, no. Our heart is too full to hear more. Now, if I might have that vile document. Aldetha. The time is here. I go now to a distant and I hope hospitable shore. I beg of you, take notice of this. I, Edward Teach, Captain, affectionately known as Blackbeard, was not all bad. So ends the story of my sojourn as a ghost. Not ended is my jolly life as a pirate with you children. Pay attention, that child on the left. Be assured we'll have many a pleasant voyage together, and in fair weather and foul, we'll always be comrades. Come along there. Move, move. I never seen such children in my life.